Hi, my name is Caleb McGill, and we're going to be talking about Asperger syndrome. What is Asperger syndrome? Asperger syndrome is on the autism spectrum. Autism is a disorder that usually affects how a person interprets language, communicates, and socializes. Asperger was its own diagnosis and considered its own condition, but in 2013 that changed. People who are diagnosed with Asperger syndrome are now considered on the autism spectrum with an autism spectrum disorder. What is autism spectrum disorder? People who have Asperger syndrome are considered to be a high-functioning autistic. Boys are 3 to 4 times more likely to be diagnosed with Asperger syndrome. The latest analysis from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention estimates that 1 in 68 children have A.S.D. Most children are diagnosed after the age of 3, typically between the ages 5 and 9. Asperger's symptoms. Common symptoms include impaired ability to make friends with peers, impaired ability to initiate or sustain a conversation with others, absence or impairment of imagination and social play, repetitive or unusual use of language, abnormally intense or focused interest, preoccupation with certain objects or subjects, inflexible adherence to specific routines or rituals. Asperger's in the teenage years. Kids and teens with Asperger's can function in everyday life, but to do so seem to be socially immature and relate better to adults than peers. To their peers, they may just seem odd. Unlike kids with autism, Asperger's kids have a high vocabulary and a very good grammar skills. Adulthood. Symptoms will continue even in the teenage years. Teenagers can learn to better cope with their symptoms and start to learn about their social skills that they lack through it. It is very common for teenagers with Asperger's to be withdrawn and socially isolated. Teens and adults with Asperger's commonly deal with depression and or anxiety. Teens with Asperger's are typically uninterested in following social norms, facts, or conventional thinking, allowing creative thinking and the pursuit of original. Pause it. Some traits that are typical of Asperger syndrome, such as attention to detail and focused interest, can increase chances of university and career success. Many people with Asperger seem to be fascinated with technology, and a common career choice is engineering. Treatment for AS. There are no cures for Asperger's, but you can help treat it. Some important helpful treatment options are parent education and training, specialized educational intervention, social skills training, language therapy, sensory integration training, and medicine to help with anxiety and depression. A few famous people with AS would be Mozart, Albert Einstein, Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Graham Bell, Emily Dickinson, Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, Henry Ford, and Isaac Newton. Stop. He has Asperger's, and we're going to ask him a few questions. When did you find out that you had AS?
I was 8 years old.
How did it make you feel that you had AS?
It surprised me, but really didn't affect me much.
Do you feel different than your peers?
Sometimes in social scenarios, but in the classrooms, no, not really.
Do you think AS enhances your life or decreases it?
Most likely decreases it in social events.
What is your biggest social challenge?
Not being overwhelmed, like trying to keep myself from being overwhelmed.
And then what are your academic goals?
So be valedictorian.